Today, I want to break down a concept that most street lifters and strength athletes overlook. And once you understand it, training becomes so much more predictable. And I'm talking about primary, secondary, and tertiary days, and how lining them up properly can protect your performance on the days it actually matters. This structure exists for one simple reason. Not every training session should demand the same output, and not every day should carry the same purpose. So if you want consistent strength expression, especially on competition days, you need a clear hierarchy in your training week. So let's walk through what each day represents and why the order matters. Let's start with primary days, your highest priority sessions, the ones where performance matters most. The heaviest loads, the most competition-specific movements, the day that actually shows you where your strength is at. These are the heavy sessions where we're hitting those top sets in the 1 to 3 rep range and training close to competition intensity. So think about your competition muscle-ups, comp pull-ups, comp dips, and competition squats. The goal here is simple. Show strength and build qualities that carry over to the platform. Primary days are the days with the highest objective load on the bar or on the belt. That means the highest load throughout the week. And therefore, they require the highest neurological demand, and therefore it is the session that needs the most amount of recovery. And all other sessions need to be aligned to protect the outcome of this primary session. So that means you need to juggle the other session and build them around the primary session to ensure we are optimizing the outcome on our primary day. Next, we have secondary days. These sit kinda in the middle in terms of intensity. No real max outs, but not too light either. These are meaningful sessions that help us accumulate more volume, to refine our skill, and to work on the technical aspect of our lifts without the recovery cost of a primary day. Here you might use variations like pauses, tempos, changes in grip width to work on weak links or address positional issues. Intensity for secondary sessions can be flexible, and it differs from athlete to athlete. A small female lifter with little muscle mass might need a heavier secondary session than a big hitter with a lot of muscle mass due to their recovery abilities. So in terms of intensity, as I said, it's flexible, but the goal is always the same. Add stimulus without interfering with your recovery and interfering with your primary day performance. You want to maintain strength, you want to refine technique, and you want to get more volume in without burning yourself. And then there are our tertiary days and beyond, depending on how many training days you're going to plan. These days are our lowest cost sessions, so they should induce the lowest amount of fatigue. The goal of these sessions is simple. Keep low, relatively low, intensity relatively moderate. Usually it's also the lowest intensity session throughout the week. Again, the same concept as with the secondary sessions. Some lifters might need a little bit more, some might a little bit less intensity, but the main goal of this exercise is to keep you moving and to avoid getting detrained and just stay in the movement pattern so that you refine your skill patterns. So here you're actually trying to prepare your body for heavier load, and you don't want to prove anything during this session. When you put these 3 layers together, your performance becomes predictable. Your primary days drive your peak performance, your secondary days reinforce those qualities to support the performance on those primary days, and the tertiary days add additional skill practice without adding fatigue. And this is why it actually matters. If every training session feels like a primary session, your training becomes very chaotic. Fatigue spills over, technique breaks down, and your best lifts only show up by luck. But when each day has its purpose, you can control fatigue, you can track progress, and you can build towards the competition with far more confidence. So here is an example of how this could look like in practice. So for our primary days, we could do 3 sets of 1 rep at 90% of our 1 rep max. For muscle ups, on our secondary session, we could do 2 sets of 3 reps at 80% of our 1 rep max. And in that last tertiary session, we could do 2 sets of 5 reps with 65% of our 1 rep max. And this is how we ensure we are managing intensity throughout the week, so that the heaviest training session is further away from that secondary session, so there is enough time between those 2 sessions so that the athlete has actually time to recover. But we want to have that tertiary session in between the secondary and the primary session, so we don't lose the adaptations and come primed into the session where it matters most, so we can hit those higher numbers. These exact numbers aren't prescriptions, these are just examples. And keep in mind that every athlete responds differently, depending on their goals, leverages, training age, gender, height, muscle mass. So many things are contributing to what you need as an athlete, and you can't generalize it in any regard. But the structure stays the same. Clear priorities, clear expectations, and a clear rhythm throughout the week. And once you understand how to line up your primary, secondary, and tertiary days, your training becomes so much more predictable, and will be much easier to troubleshoot things when they don't go in the right direction. So if you're plateauing, it will be much easier to troubleshoot and to find out why it's the case. And strength is no longer about hoping for a good day, because you know whenever you're going to hit those numbers. Because it's all about building it on the right day. And once you understand how to line up primary, secondary, and tertiary days, your performance becomes so much more predictable. Strength is then no longer about hoping for a good day, it's about building the right day. That's it for today's video. If you haven't done yet, please share this video, subscribe to the channel, and like this video for more content like this. And if you need help with your training and you're looking for guidance, then reach out for my one-on-one online coaching. If you want to know how I work, then subscribe to my newsletter, and see you in the next